Hello. All right, let's go on to lesson 12 for 52 short stories. And congratulations for everyone that has been, writing consistently every week. That is wonderful. Whether you're posting it or not posting it, doesn't matter, just as long as you're writing. So today we're going to talk about the monomyth. So let me just make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so we are going to talk about the hero's journey. So, I'm sure I kind of talked about this a little bit, and you guys probably have heard about this. Well, maybe you've heard about this, but either way, we're going to talk about the hero's journey. So, where has this actually come from? The idea of the monomyth. And the monomyth is something that was coined by Joseph Campbell. Now, Joseph Campbell, he studied many, many, many stories throughout history that were popular, and his theory is that every popular story since the beginning of time is about a hero or a person who goes on a journey or adventure, almost loses everything, and comes back home a hero. So now this is like really the beginning, like any story, whether it's the knight that goes to fight the dragon or the one that our families say about our ancestor that fought against a lion, um, any type of heroic story, any story that's well known, he says always follows all of these certain steps in the monomyth. So because of Joseph Campbell, well, a lot of people blame Joseph Campbell anyways, that the reason why you'll see a lot of American stories and movies that all follow consistently the monomyth is because of him. Now, some people do say that they would rather not necessarily follow the monomyth and they rather have more, you know, diversity in their type of stories, but it's not necessarily accepted when it comes to these people that actually want to invest their money into these movies or books. So they would actually prefer something that they know that everybody likes, that is popular. So it's hard to tell them to go another direction. And it's not that you couldn't, it's just that people don't necessarily want to take that risk. They'd rather something that they know is popular, something they know that everybody likes. So if you don't want your story to get rejected, it's usually good to just go ahead and just follow the monomyth. And not that it's a bad thing, because really when you think about it, a lot of the stories you probably like are all the monomyth. So now, why is the monomyth so popular? Because actually it's the story about how to succeed. That is what every popular story is about, is how to succeed. They all had a goal. They maybe failed a bunch of times, but at the end they were successful. And that is the story that is most popular. Now, granted, there are some stories, and we'll go into that a little bit later, that they failed and it was still popular. So, such as Romeo and Juliet, it was a failure, but it's still a popular story. But most of the time, when you look at almost all of the, stories that are popular, most of them are not about failure. Most of them are always about how to succeed. And it could be succeeding in anything, starting a business, whether it's romance, whether it's saving the planet, whatever. At the end of the day, they're all just about how to succeed, and that is what the monomyth is about. So, um, so the thing about these type of success stories, they're inspiring, they're educational, they're entertaining. Um, that is why people love to hear stories about how to succeed. That's what they love. So, when you want to write a novel or a play or something, whatever you want to write, you have to think about what type of journey of success that you want to write about. Um, and it could be anything, just whatever it is you find interesting, whether it's the sports, whether it is education, whether it's love, whether it's, horror, monsters, mysteries, police, whatever, saving the world. What kind of success story do you want to write about? Like, what is it that your character really wants? What is it that is going to make them go through the whole story that would make them into a better person? What is it that they really, really want? Okay? And granted, the journey of 1,000 miles begin with a single step. So your story that's not necessarily going to be 1,000 miles, but it's going to be long, it does start with a single step. So it's that single step of what the character, you know, are they going to do it? Are they going to try to go on this journey to succeed, or they won't? Hopefully they will, because otherwise, it won't be, the story won't go anywhere. So either way, so usually with the success stories, they always start with a call to adventure. The call to adventure is a point in a person's life when they are first given notice that everything is going to change, whether they know it or not. So it's just, it doesn't necessarily have to be a phone call, but it could be. It could be a phone call. It could be a letter. It could be somebody calling out to them for help. It could be anything. So it's just that moment where someone else is telling them, hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to start this business together? Do you want to start this, go on this plan together? Do you want to help me? Whatever it is. But there's this call to tell them, hey, let's do this. We can do this. Or even, hey, there's a dragon that's just, killing everybody. Do you want to go kill it? Whatever it is that the call to adventure is. I guess nowadays it could be even a text, right? Do you want to come, whatever, to the party? It's the call to adventure, okay? So now let's talk about a success story or a non-success story that was actually popular. And honestly, when you think about it, at the beginning, with Romeo and Juliet, yes, they loved each other. Um, their family said they couldn't be together, but at the end they, killed themselves or because they couldn't be together. They still were trying to be together. So I guess you could say it was a journey, but still was a failure. So, but it's one of those few stories that are failures. So with the obstacles of love, um, when you're talking about race, class, age difference, these are all things that would keep the two people from being together. So you have a story with two characters that really want to be together, but because of these differences, whether one of them already has an arranged marriage, whether they are obligated to work or to family, jealousy, poverty, goals, there is something that is an obstacle that is keeping them from being together. Okay, so at the beginning, what you have is a character or a lover that wants to find his beloved. Now, what is the obstacle to love? Um, it could be any of those conflicts. Then what happens? A disaster. They announce their engagement or their relationship and it is opposed. So, reaction, are they both afraid or just one? What will they have to give up in order to keep the relationship? Um, do they conquer the obstacles or do they actually just end the relationship? So, now granted, at the end of this, if they end the relationship, it's a failure. Or if they kill each other, it would be kill each other or themselves, then it would be a failure. But if they actually do decide to work it out, then it would be a success story, right? So, let's just say, not sure if my screen is big enough, but hey, sorry if it's not. So either way, so with this one, I'll say, okay, so there's a warrior named Ahmed. He's injured while he's traveling. He meets a girl named Jamila in another village. Ahmed, he has to continue home, but he likes Jamila a lot because she helped him. Ahmed wants to marry Jamila, but her family says no, and they arrest him for trying to steal her. Reaction, Jamila is scared, of course. She's very upset that Ahmed was, arrested. So Jamila, she wants to free Ahmed, but she knows that she'll get in trouble if she does this, but she doesn't care. So in the middle of the night when everybody's sleeping, she decides that she's going to go free him, and they run away together so they can go get married and leave the family. All right, so, oh, my battery's dying. Okay, sorry. So either way, so this week, write an outline for your 6 steps that happen in 6 minutes, or 1 hour, or 6 hours, or 6 days, or whatever it is, however long your story needs to be. And sometimes with obstacles of love, of course, it may be a little bit longer than 6 hours. I would think so. So either way, so write 100 to 200 words for each step of your short story. Okay, so write a short story every week. It's not possible to write 52 bad short stories in a row. Thank you.